The City of Albuquerque Public Art Urban Enhancement Division and Department of Arts and Culture proudly present Take Another Look. Built on the foundation of two city ordinances, Art in Municipal Places, and the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, the Public Art Urban Enhancement Division provides funds to artists to create art for the public, as well as arts organizations for arts and cultural programming. Join us as we discuss everything related to funding artists in the public realm with host Joni Palmer.
Hello, I'm Joni Palmer, and welcome back to Take Another Look at Albuquerque's public art. Thank you for tuning in today for the first episode in a two-part series focused on the incredible artworks that are being installed at the Albuquerque Rail Yards. In this episode, I am joined by Alaska Piper, the Rail Yards Market Manager, and Michael Ogilvie, the Public Art Urban Enhancement Division Manager. We're going to be discussing a new mural. We're actually sitting in front of it for you who are actually seeing this. It was recently installed and dedicated on Sunday, the 26th of July. So, as you can tell, we aren't in the studio today. We're mixing things up a bit. Instead of being in the studio, we are down at the rail yards in downtown Albuquerque. We couldn't be down here today, so I want to do a couple shout outs without the hard work and the heavy lifting of the ABQ media team. So thank you, Tony, Henry, Anthony, Will, Tyler, and Simon. We really appreciate you helping make this happen. There's also, and they're off the scenes right now, giving us some room, some space. We want to thank Raul Pereira and his crew for accommodating us today. So we really appreciate, we know you have a really tight schedule. Appreciate you giving us this time to record. So there's background noise. We are in a working environment. So you're going to hear all the stuff that happens down at the rail yards. And we'll talk about that, Alaska, a little bit in terms of all the stuff that happens down here. Now, more specifically, we're in the tender shop. This is the original tender repair shop built. It's built by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway. You should come on down. There's a lot of different events happening at the Albuquerque Rail Yards. Check out these amazing structures that are being repurposed for community activities and local business opportunities. For those of you who are not train or railroad buffs, like one of my brothers-in-law, a tender shop is a critical building element of a rail yard. It's a specialized industrial space where the tenders of steam locomotives, they were inspected, maintained, and overhauled in this space. A tender is the attached, unpowered railroad car that trails directly behind a steam locomotive to carry the massive amounts of water and fuel. So think coal, wood, oil that are required for the long rail journeys. As the name suggests, these are the components of a train that face significant wear and tear. So they need dedicated shop spaces that provide crucial maintenance services. So here's another shout out to all those welders and boiler makers who were fixing the cracks, leaks, and structural damage in the various compartments. The mechanics who served the tenders, the wheel assemblies, the axles, the couplers, and the heavy-duty brake mechanisms, and also technicians who repaired the heavy valves, pumps, and pipes that transfer water and fuel from the tender to the steam locomotive's firebox. So a lot of people were working in this space. I learned about the tender shops by doing some research, and you can educate yourselves as well by going to the Guide to New Mexico Architecture. It's an online resource. You can also go to the city's rail yards history site. I encourage you to check out both of these because you'll see historic photographs and a lot of really amazing information about the site and Barelas, the community that is so attached to this particular space. So, thank you, Alaska and Michael, for joining us in the rail yards today. It's good to see both of you down here. Okay, so before we start talking about the mural, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So we'll start with you, Alaska. You're the Rail Yards Market Manager. What does that mean?
Well, I like to say that I'm the Rail Yards Market mom. I get the opportunity to make creative and fun things happen at the Rail Yards. The Rail Yards Market is actually a nonprofit, 501c3, so I'm their executive director, and we have several programs. One of the programs is the Farmers Market that happens at the Rail Yards on Sundays. And we have been operating within this space since 2014. So this is our 13th year. And for folks that haven't been to the Rail Yards Market, it is a farmer's market with over 150,000 square feet of indoor-outdoor space. And we host and service and support over 500 small businesses annually. So we host anything from local farmers to food producers to artisan makers in this space. And the farmers market welcomes over 100,000 local folks as well as visitors alike.
That's amazing. I mean, people are still discovering the farmers market. Absolutely. I didn't know it's in its 13th year.
It's a hidden gem in Albuquerque. I mean, these buildings, they are massive. We call them industrial cathedrals, right? But a lot of folks have grown up knowing and loving these spaces. I often joke that it's a rite of passage for Boricño youth to have snuck in here and enjoyed the spaces. But now, with the city's partnership, we can enjoy the rail yards legally on Sundays, right?
Oh, that's great. Yeah. How did you find yourself? How did you get to this position? Tell us a little bit about your background.
The Rail Yards Market has a very interesting history. In 2013, the Barry administration revitalized the blacksmith shop, which is about a 25,000 square foot building to our east. So now it has power, it has some encapsulation abatement, a new roof. And at that time, during the ribbon cutting, several community residents, community stakeholders, leaders, and neighborhood residents came together with this amazing idea. How can we activate the rail yards again? It had been closed since the 70s when diesel power took over, and steam-powered locomotives kind of faded out. And all these community residents got together and started having meetings in all these different little local places. The meetings started with a few dozen, but by the time I had come on and kind of found out about the project, some of the meetings were standing room only. There were hundreds of people in the room. And in 2014, we broke ground and opened up the Rail Yards Market with about 8,000 to 10,000 visitors that day. It's a powerful project. We're community powered, we're people powered. People wanted to see this space activated for the community, for folks that had grown up hearing stories of their grandparents working here. I often say you're hard pressed to find a Boricño that's multi-generational here that doesn't have some connection to the rail yards.
Yeah. And what is your background?
I have a multifaceted background. When I came onto the Rail Yards Market project, there were great ideas of art and community, and they had a beautiful vision. My background is in festival music production and film, building sets, building big stages like at Coachella or Lightning in a Bottle. And so when I came on, I said, where are the bathrooms? Where's the power? How are we paying for this? How are we going to safely get people in and out of these spaces that haven't been used in decades?
Right.
So I kind of came on as a logistician mind. Just right place, right time. I just stuck around. In the beginning, I really felt that the management of this entity should be from the neighborhood. So I came on first and, declined the manager position gently and said, but I'll stay on as a logistics coordinator. I'll stay on as a grant writer. And then I just kept staying on, and nobody wanted that crazy responsibility. But now we have a team. We started off as just volunteers, and now we have a team of over 15 to 20 employees that make this happen year round.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, they're lucky to have you, Alaska.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
Okay, so Michael, we last spoke when you first were onboarding. That was episode 26, and we talked in Gallery 1.
That's right.
So what's been going on? You've been with us in Albuquerque
Almost
now for
a
9
year.
months.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's matriculated. I've really got to know a lot of people since I've been here. And that's been a big part of it, just the relationship building with Arts Board members, with Urban Enhancement Trust Fund members, with the community, with artists, with neighborhoods, and just kind of building a rapport and really identifying like how these projects are going to be developed in all the neighborhoods where all of our projects are going to be developed. We have about 50 projects right now that are in production. That's in our portfolio, 176 contracts. The vast majority of those are with local artists. I'd say about 97% of the contracts are with local artists. So it's a huge body of work that we're moving forward. This is the most recent completion, but we've got many more happening this month, and this one was very exciting. It's really nice to have an internationally known artist pay respects to Albuquerque and really recognize the mural scene that's happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so this gives me a really good segue into let's talk about a little bit of background information on this. So. Who is Shepard Fairey? For those people who don't, when I was telling my family who lives in Buffalo, and trying to explain to them who he is, can you tell us a little bit about what's a good way to introduce him to people who've never heard of him?
Pick up a copy of Time magazine from 2 weeks ago. He's on the cover. So he did the artwork on the cover.
Yeah.
But Shepard Fairey is an artist who really kind of started out. He did go to Rhode Island School of Design, so he did have this sort of educational background, but he really started in the street mural scene, initially doing a type of propaganda type work where he would create these images, these graphic images, and then unsanctioned put them up wherever he thought would be an ideal place to put them up. This is the early 90s, and the street mural scene was really kind of happening then. But from that, his style really continued to grow and to blossom. And of course, a lot of the street muralists started to be embraced by sanctioned organizations such as governments, galleries, museums, things like that. And he was no exception, because as his work continued to bloom, he became more popular, and his artistry his style became more distinctive. And I think it really kind of hit the global scene when he did the Obama campaign poster in 2008. That really kind of changed the game for the campaign as well as for him as an artist. It really set him up on another level. And so I've been kind of following the arc of his career over the past few decades, and I've wanted to work with Shepard for a long time. And when this mural opportunity came up, it really was the idea of the lead contractor, which kind of goes back to what I was saying about how there's like a creative soul here in the city. You don't get a lot of lead contractors saying, I think we need a mural on this wall. You don't. I mean, it's really a unique thing. And his name's Raul Pereira, and he's really great. He recommended that to the general services manager at the time, who recommended it to my boss at the time, Dr. Shel Sanchez. And she said, can you evaluate this site and see if it'd be a good site for a mural? So I came out here, and I was like, this is not only a good site for a mural, this is like the best site for a mural. It's partially indoors, it's protected from UV light, it's protected from a lot of pollutants, which most murals are exposed to. And the artists, when they're painting, it's an ideal site to work because there's shade. It's like really, and the surface is brand new. This is the wall that's going to be this is right on the side of the new C&M film school that's going to be opening up in a few weeks. So it was really I was like, yeah, it's a great location. And they said, can you get something done in 6 months? Usually our murals have like a year build out, because we have to go through a procurement process. Artists will apply, a stakeholder panel will help select the artist. And this was different. We knew that we only have 6 months. The procurement process is around 4 to 5 months to do the whole thing before we contract an artist. We knew that wouldn't work, so we'd have to do a direct select. And one of the first artists that came to mind for me, and I thought, it's just a long shot, but the way Shepard works with edge and the way he has a real like linear quality to his work, I thought would be an incredible complement to the Industrial Cathedral here. And so I thought, well, I'll just reach out and see if maybe he's available and interested. And I reached out to his project manager, and his name's Dan Flores, and Dan said, "Yeah, we're interested."
Oh my
so
goodness!
that was kind of where it went. So it did go through the design process. There were stakeholders, of which Alaska was on that, to really help inform like the place, what it's about. There were neighborhood members who were on it, who really shared a history. Many of the neighborhood had family that worked here, and this is a hard place to work. It was not an easy job, and Shepard heard all of this throughout the design process and really implemented that in the design. And you can really see that element coming through with this. But he also kind of touched on New Mexico history, Albuquerque history. So it wasn't just specific to the rail yards, but the rail yards clearly is a big part of that.
In Alaska, what did you think when you first heard that this, one, the timeline, and two, the kind of Shepard Fairey and all of that?
Yeah, so I came onto the project pretty late, and we actually utilize this space regularly every week. So I agree, it's a excellent place for the community and visitors to enjoy, because the farmers market is in these halls every Sunday. So it's an opportunity for folks to come down and visit the rail yards, not only free, but also legally, right? They don't have to sneak in here to see the space. The rail yards has had a history of being a hotspot for graffiti artists. So when I did find out about the artist, I was like, oh, it's kind of fitting, right? Yeah. Fitting with the vibe, fitting with the history of the space and its modern use. I found out about the mural from construction, because at the time we were actually doing our free movie nights, movie markets in this space. And there had been brand new windows put up on this back wall. And then all of a sudden we started, week by week, we saw framing going up. And I was like, oh no. So at first we were kind of shocked. The community and neighborhood was a little shocked that there was a wall going up over the new revitalized windows. So when I found out that there was a mural happening, I got in touch with Michael and his team about the project. Did find out that there wasn't time to be involved in selecting the artist or selecting the location, but right away I knew how important it was to ensure that the neighborhood was involved, at least in influencing the work. And Michael's team absolutely agreed. So we got together, formed a stakeholder panel that included representatives from the Morelos neighborhood and South Broadway. If you don't know, the rail yards is kind of cradled in between several historic neighborhoods. So Morelos and South Broadway used to be connected. The rail yards kind of slices those neighborhoods in half. We also have San Jose to the south and South Valley to the southwest, as well as downtown touches it. So it's kind of cradled. And these neighborhoods have a very, very strong historic identity. Many of their ancestors built these spaces. So immediately I was like, ooh, we got to get the neighborhood voices on this right away. And thankfully I was able to sit on a panel where we were able to speak with the artists, submit stories, submit our hopes and dreams for the project.
Yeah.
All in all, I'm really happy with how the partnership came out.
Yeah, because that's a tight timeline.
Yes, and time can be a constraint and sometimes a barrier and problem in revitalization projects and urban renewal projects, right? These neighborhoods have a very strong fear of displacement and gentrification. So anytime there's projects at the rail yards, I'm always like, yes, the neighborhood has to know, the neighborhood has to be involved in some way. And a big part of our project and our mission is for historic legacy residents to have a stake in everything that we do here, whether it's a small performer, musician being engaged at the market, or a really big development project, right? So we're always trying to find ways that everyone can have a seat at the table, right? And I think we talked about this before, that art, music, food have a unique place a unique role to bring people to the table, to elicit conversation. When you share art, when you share food, that's an opportunity to connect and learn about each other's stories, learn about each other's histories, and learn about each other's vision for the future.
Right, right. Well, you mentioned a couple things, and Michael, if you could give us a little bit of information. I mean, this is a very different process than other murals that the public art program works on. So can you tell us a little, how is the Arts Board involved? Yeah, tell us a little bit more about how this was unique, but it also was very, very stakeholder driven at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, it was unique in that when we have, our ordinance allows for it, we can do direct selections of artists for specific projects if we see an artist's style might fit a site location, but it's something we rarely do. We usually put out a call to artists and we make it open and competitive for as many artists who are interested in the project to apply. So not doing that process allowed us to reduce the procurement by about 4 to 5 months. So that saved us some time and streamlined the process a little bit. But then the stakeholders, as Alaska said, like, it was really important. I was really glad when Alaska reached out, because it's like, that's who we need. She's like the logistics magician, and she knows everybody, and she really helped make a lot of connections for us in the neighborhood so that we could bring everybody together to share their experience, to share their vision of their home with Shepard. And that really did become the impetus of inspiration for Shepard to create this design. He really listened to everybody. He read their stories. He really processed that through his imagination wheelhouse and came out with this design that then goes to the Arts Board. The Arts Board is the final decision for any artworks that go on city property. And he presented to the Arts Board with his team, and some of the neighborhood was there. And we also had an Arts Board member along the whole process. The vice chair sat on the stakeholder board and provided input, and was also integral to helping inform the design. So the Arts Board really does, they're not just the approval, but they're part of the process too. So they know, or at least they have a designated person to be part of the process appointed. And so when it got to the Arts Board, it was really kind of like, there was somebody who was already on the inside throughout the process, and then there was the Arts Board getting to see all of that work come together, and the artists sharing that with the Arts Board. And they unanimously approved of the design after it had been presented and there had been public input on that. And once it was approved, then it was just a matter of logistics. Getting everything coordinated with the base contractor, getting the heavy equipment, getting the supplies, getting the paint. On Shepard's side, getting all the travel accommodations made and everything ready for an ideal time to paint this. And I knew of his operative style. They move really quick. It's really unique. It's probably one of the most efficient mural processes I've ever witnessed, and how quickly and how efficiently they work. There's no second wasted. They were able to execute this mural in 4 days, this is a 3,300 square feet mural. I mean, this is not small. I mean, this is a big mural to knock out in that amount of time. So there, once everything was coordinated, it was just a matter of making that start date and hoping no unforeseen occurrence arise.
Right.
Yes.
Which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
It all fell into place.
It did. I feel like we did get lucky in a lot of ways on this. So
yeah. Well, a couple other questions, and I'm thinking about just in terms of our amount of time, because we could talk about a lot of stuff here, but we're going to focus on a couple things. One is, so is the mural accessible 24/7?
No, the site is locked, so it is not accessible 24/7. It will be when C&M Film School opens. It'll be open during those business hours that the film school is open, but throughout the night, graveyard, things like that, no, it won't be open.
Okay.
Yes, we do always encourage folks. So many people want to enjoy the rail yards. Neighbors want to enjoy the rail yards. Visitors, tourists want to enjoy the rail yards. So when folks reach out to the Rail Yards Market or to the convention center who manages the private events here, we always say, come to the farmers market on Sunday, because Sundays are a perfect opportunity for folks to get photographs by the mural,
Right.
for folks to get photographs with the beautiful iconic windows here, and enjoy everything local that Albuquerque has to offer.
Yeah.
The farmers market is open from May through October, every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Mhm.
We also have some off-season events. We do free movie showings, so that's an opportunity to see it at night. We do a holiday market, we do a Valentine market. So we always recommend folks that, if they don't quite have the resources or capacity to rent the space privately for their own event or photography, just to come to the market and enjoy the space.
Yeah.
Great. Right. So there's ample opportunity
Ample
to come
opportunities.
on down. Yeah.
Every week.
So how is it that, a marquee name like Fairey, how does he fit into the city's homegrown mural ecosystem? So we have this big name coming in. How is the city, and it might be you all, but other departments in the city, how are you leveraging this? And how is it a part of, we are known for our murals and increasingly known across the country.
I think that ties in, like, the fact that we do have such a strong art scene here, not just on a mural sense, but there's many great artists in this city. And when an artist of international renown recognizes that, I do think it's a compliment. I can't remember the exact quote, but I believe it's a high tide raises all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like that sort of thing. This artist is recognizing the city as a cultural beacon in a way, and coming here to honor us with that. And not only honoring, but like really respecting the process and the locals and the people that live here as part of that design development. So that I do think that it makes it helps put the scene, which is already well known, it just helps elevate it a little bit more, and that's good for all artists. That's good for all local artists here. That's good for, of course, for Shepard and his team to be able to come here and do this. So it really is a positive thing all the way around.
And how does the Bareilles community, what kind of feedback have you heard so far? It was only recently unveiled, right? But what have been their thoughts?
I think well, I don't speak for the neighborhood, but I think a lot of the neighborhood voices that came to the unveiling yesterday said that they were happy with the mural. In the stakeholder panel, a lot of the members discussed the pride they feel with this space. When you're in these walls, you just can't help but feel innovation humming all around you. And I think the work fits that purpose. There's the figure representing kind of the working class demographic and people that forge these spaces. There's a flora, there's fauna, right? There's so many elements that knit the diverse communities together here in this work. On the stakeholder panel, there was indigenous community perspective, working class community perspective, artisans, and I just think it really knits all of those elements together beautifully.
Agreed.
And
what about the title? We keep the mural.
People
Shepard.
Power Mosaic, it's the anti-AI. It's, it's people really are the energy and the creative innovation that you're talking about of people. That's what this place is about. It's and the history of this, of this area, and the folks that are identified in this mural, like Soledad Chavez de Chacon. She was the second female governor to ever govern a state. But the first Hispanic woman to ever govern a state. And that's innovative too. That's and that ties in with the Shepard's equal rights and social justice initiatives. And that's New Mexico history. We're unique in a lot of ways in being avant-garde in those types of just
a lot of firsts.
Yes, a lot of firsts. Yeah.
And there's as you said, there's a lot of projects that are in your portfolio that are in the pipeline. But since this mural is a gallery initiated project rather than city, and it's a selection process was different, and it lands just as the city is rolling out all these mural projects along the central corridor for Route 66 Centennial. Can you speak to how all of this comes together, Route 66 and this mural coming into place, and how do you see all that working together for the city?
I was talking with an artist who's working on a fresco for us right now at the convention center, Federico Vigil, and he put it in the way that I like. He said, "It's hot right now." everything is happening all at once, and and it literally is hot as well.
Yeah.
But it's a scene that's really happening, and there's a lot of creativity that's just off the gallery walls as well as on the gallery walls, but off the gallery walls and in the streets. And I think that's just a testament to the creative soul of this place.
Yeah, there's a real buzz.
Yeah.
I mean, I could feel it yesterday at the dedication and the excitement and people talking about murals and local artists, and then being in amidst all of these local vendors. And it was a really great vibe yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
The area that we're in is a literal nexus. I mean, the railroad is not, the location is not accidental of the rail yards.
Right.
You know, the north, south, east, west trade routes, the Camino Real, the indigenous communities that traveled through here. I mean, this is a true nexus, a true crossroads of innovation, art, economic vitality, right? And bringing it back to this small scale community endeavor. I mean, you have that big, giant crossroads legacy to live up to, right? With Route 66 Centennial happening, you know, and being here in a micro environment, seeing all the small artisan makers being supported through this larger endeavor is very beautiful to me.
Right. That's a good place for us to finish our conversation. But there's any last thoughts that you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to thank Alaska. We couldn't have done this without you. Big part of the process. The contractors that were also generous and helpful. Like they cleared the space. They made sure the door was shut when the door needed to be shut. Of course, Noel for organizing this, and the staff at ABQ Media, and you, Joni. It's been all the podcasts you do are fabulous. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for providing a space for community voices and partnerships at the Rail Yards Market. I'm a strong advocate of partnerships and collaboration. I always believe that we can do more together than apart.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for
Thanks
bringing
again
us
for
together.
coming down to the Rail Yards
Thank
and
you.
in front of this beautiful mural to have a
So
conversation.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dear listeners, if you want to learn more about the history of the rail yards and all that's happening down at the rail yards, you can visit the city's website, cabq.gov/rail yards. Is there a separate website for the farmers market?
Yes, it is linked on the city's website since they're such great partners. But our website's very easy, railyardsmarket.org. Check out all the community fun going down.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, and you have a good calendar up there.
Yes, and we do have one mural event happening
Right.
with a local artist. If folks don't know, this is just one of the murals on site. I believe there's more than 12 if you count the picnic table mural project that we did with the city. So this is the only non-local artist, but all the other murals on site are done by local artisans, and we are unveiling one on August 30th together by Jade Cruz, who's a South Valley neighborhood-based resident, and that'll be happening on our Rail Yards Market Red or Green Day theme. So you can come see the new mural, which is called Corazón de Chile, and make a ristra with our local farmers.
Oh, nice.
Eat some green chili, enjoy all the other works on site. It's going to be an amazing community collaboration.
Yes.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of resources that you can learn more about what has happened in the past and what is happening in the present and into the future. There's also the Wheels Museum Their website is wheelsmuseum.org, and they're a nonprofit that are located here at the rail yards. Their collections embrace the history of rail yards, of railroads, along with the impact of the rail yards on Albuquerque and other modes of transportation that are part of our history. You can learn more about Shepard Fairey's work. You can visit his website at obeygiant.com. The Cultivate Justice is an exhibition. It's his first solo show in New Mexico. It's at the Turner Carroll Gallery on Canyon Road, and that is just a really short period for the exhibit, July 17th through August 10th. So you can go to turnercarrollgallery.com to learn more about that. And of course, you can find all of this information and more at our newsletter. So you'll find the newsletter, and you can sign up for the newsletter on the Public Art webpage. So just go to cabq.gov/arts/culture/public art/podcast. So thank you for listening. Please join us for our next episode. And Alaska, you mentioned this. We're going to learn about some of the other murals that are happening down here by our local artists. So we hope that after you've listened to this podcast, that you will take another look at Albuquerque's public art. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about the Albuquerque Public Art Program, the Public Art Collection, opportunities for artists, and so much more, visit cabq.gov/publicart. To learn more about the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, visit cabq.gov/UETF. Tune in next time to take another look at the City of Albuquerque Public Art Urban Enhancement Division.